told by the banks that if I did not agree to settle with the SEC, that the banks would cease providing working capital and Tesla would go bankrupt immediately. So that's like having a gun to your child's head. So I was forced to concede to the SEC unlawfully, those bastards. And now it makes it look like I lied when I did not in fact lie. I was forced to admit that I lied to save Tesla's life, and that's the only reason.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening.
Flip the switch. Sooner or later, all ATMs will run out of cash. And if you've not invested in digital coins, you could easily miss the wave of the future. More importantly, if you don't know what the banker's coin is, pause this video and check out all my other videos on my channel, because you really need to get updated to see what is actually happening in the crypto world. But before we get down to all that, let's roll that intro. As always, welcome back to Moneyside, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you get updates when we drop new videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, and you can always leave a comment or a question in the section below.
But right now we're seeing along a spot market regulation, and so some of that played out in the House and Senate Agriculture Committee. But also we're seeing the idea of, what does it look like for proof of reserves, for example. We've also seen what does exchange regulation look like, and registration, because they're having a huge issue, as we all know, with exchanges not registering with the SEC. And Gary Gensler hammering, saying that you have to do that, but exchanges saying we can't have the ability to comply at the moment. So these things are still in the works. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a Robinhood style hearing, where we have several hearings on the FTX situation. And the final hearing usually is going to say, we have learned all these facts. Here is the legislation we think that's going to solve the FTX issue going forward. And that's going to include proposals that may be related to FTX directly, and most of the time probably just more crypto regulation as a whole. And many bills that we've seen, again, like the Lummis-Gillibrand bill, re-emerging in some shape or form.
I mean, one of the big ones right now. So last week, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas announced that it had recovered about $3.5 billion worth of assets from the FTX bankruptcy estate. The U.S. bankruptcy managers came back and said it was only about $296 million, which, of course, it's a major difference. $3.5 billion is a full order of magnitude more than, less than $300 million. So the fact that they can't even agree on the value of these assets is troubling. And it's significant, of course, because if you're a FTX creditor, you want to know how much money you're going to be able to get back. And if you think, oh, well, one of the governments has recovered almost half of the outstanding assets value, that's great. It means I'm going to, get maybe half my money back. If it turns out that they only got, $300 million back and are holding that much as the U.S. bankruptcy managers are saying, then that's really a lot less. That's, for a creditor, that's not as hopeful a sign. So they definitely need to, I would hope that there's some kind of consensus agreement on just how much they've actually recovered versus what's going on right now, because that is significant. And again, this is something that came up during the arraignment yesterday. One of the when a judge asked, which country saw bankruptcy proceedings begin first, and if that's relevant to some of the other issues that were brought up. So it is catching people's.
It's time we all wake up to the truth of the matter. The SEC are bullies who like to force their way through life and push everyone into submission. But what they didn't count on was the fact that Ripple and the whole XRP family fought back. Unlike Elon Musk, the XRP community is ready to stand their ground despite being forced into submission, or at least attempted to. And we've been fighting for the whole crypto sphere. Otherwise, the SEC could have already started coming for other firms in the crypto space. Thankfully, this is a fight that I bet we're going to win, and no matter how long it takes. There's another interesting tweet. Whale Chart wrote on his timeline that breaking, Robert Kiyosaki says SEC will crush most cryptos in the coming years. Robert is one of the wisest investors of our time, and he believes that the SEC will likely take down the whole of crypto. And he's not wrong. That's why Ripple continues to fight for the entire crypto world. And that's the same reason why the SEC can't concede to defeat, even if they don't have any case against Ripple. The SEC knows if they accept, the whole world will see them for the fraud they are. I said it. If this regulatory body wasn't such a fraud, how could Gary Gensler meet with SBF and not even check out what FTT is all about? I mean, this was the biggest scam of the century, yet the head of the regulatory body didn't even investigate them? That goes to show you that the SEC is picking winners, picking favorites in the crypto space, and it's more or less in a selfish manner. They are not being fair with their judgment, and that's why things seem to be going off. We need to be serious and wake up to the fact that the SEC isn't playing fair, even with their pursuit against Ripple. Thankfully, the XRP army are quite effective. Within the last few years, this community has uncovered all the skeletons that the SEC has been trying to hide in their closet. Now, we're close to a settlement. If the SEC doesn't settle, they're going to be in deep trouble, since this community will continue to uncover some more dirty laundry. Stay tuned, guys, and I'll keep you updated with the latest happening across the space.
Look, we are very confident, as evidenced by the fact that we filed summary judgment. We think, again, the facts are clear. We think the law is on our side, so we want to get to that resolution. But I do think it's important for the whole industry, because if the SEC is going to be the regulator of all crypto, and again, Gary Gensler, the current chairman of the SEC, has said he views virtually all crypto as a security, that's really going to change crypto in the United States, which is the largest economy in the world. You know, I think we all should care that we're able to continue to innovate on these technologies and build solutions using these technologies that really can make the economy more efficient.
And so, looking at either side of how this ruling may turn out, I mean, if the judge rules with the SEC and deems XRP a security, what does that mean for the larger industry?
Well, I mean, for Ripple, I think for Ripple, we're already operating in a world, it's almost as if we have lost the lawsuit, simply because you don't have XRP trading here in the United States for all intents and purposes. Uphold as one exchange still allows trading of XRP, but other than that, everyone else halted trading here in the US. So I think if we prevail, we'll now have more liquidity in the XRP ecosystem in the largest economy in the world. We think that's good for everybody. It also, I think, really sets a tone for other cases the SEC is pursuing now. And they've been quite aggressive, as I think has been, kind of well reported in their kind of overreach, and some of the letters that have gone out that even congressional leaders have reached out to the SEC asking for explanation. If it doesn't go Ripple's way, I think Ripple can continue to grow our business. It'll just be largely a non-US business, which would be unfortunate. And I think it would give the SEC more standing to be more aggressive in other cases.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about Ripple's future if it does fall that way. But before we do, in terms of industry-wide precedent that might be set, so far the SEC has really only partitioned off Bitcoin and perhaps Ether as falling under the purview of the CFTC. You this week met with Caroline Pham, who's one of the commissioners of the CFTC. What did you guys talk about?
Well, I think Commissioner Pham's learning. I think she's very bright, still, relatively new to her position, and I think trying to learn. And I think she has spoken out about the need for the clarity that we have been seeking. And so, even what you're describing, the SEC Chair Gensler has said he won't comment on specific projects. He does comment on Bitcoin, which is a specific project. When asked directly about ETH, despite the previous administration, they viewed ETH to have been a security, then transitioned to a non-security. You now have the SEC making noises that perhaps ETH is indeed a security, and even in a recent legal filing not related to Ripple, they made the assertion that because most ETH nodes are based geographically in the United States, that they have jurisdiction to regulate ETH. So look, I do think at the core we have to go back to what is the law? What is the statute that Congress wrote to give the SEC power? And in this case, I think the SEC has greatly overstepped, and not just in this case, but what we're seeing with ETH. Gary Gensler also likes to say, that the rules are clear, but then you ask him, well, is ETH a security? He won't answer. Well, if they're that clear, let's provide the clarity that everyone's seeking. And I think it's just been really kind of frustrating and disingenuous.
As always, please do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can always let us know what you think in the comment section below and start up a conversation. Thanks as always for watching. Couldn't be here without you. Don't forget to like this video and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications. That way you'll get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next Money Side.